Hey, how's it going? I'm a crafty monkey. This week, for my Japanese studies, I decided to try watching anime as my studying. Yep. It's kind of hard to use anime as a way to study, but it is a pretty good way for input. I chose this week to watch an anime that I've never watched before, which was Nichijou, or My Ordinary Life. Literally, Nichijou just means everyday life, and I knew very little going into this. I knew that it was a slice of life anime where it was pretty chill, and a lot of strange comedy. I didn't realize just how much chaos that comedy brought. I'm thinking about this all from memory, and I'm going to try and explain what I remember from the first episode at least, and see how much I really understood, because I've only watched it purely in Japanese with absolutely no English whatsoever. No subtitles at all, just purely in the Japanese. It started off with a girl with some sort of weird mechanism on her back. It was like what are those things called that you like twist, like a wind-up toy? It turns out she is a robot, and that threw me off so much. From the very start, I was so confused about what was going on, because the girl that is a robot ran into a boy, and a massive explosion happened. And I was just like, okay, just weird slapstick comedy, I guess. Just exaggeration. And then, like, the scene after that, two different girls are walking down the street, and, like, a bunch of debris from the explosion falls down onto their heads, and it's like, what? Okay. And then there's the establishing shot when they get to the school, and there's a boy riding a goat for some reason, and just so much weird stuff is happening. And there's a scene where the principal is talking about some stuff, and I kind of knew what he was saying and kind of didn't. I knew that he was saying some dad jokes, but I didn't really get the jokes because I think they were plays on words. That scene was pretty funny until the girl with the long hair starts laughing, and the other girl's like, oh, I guess she likes dad jokes or whatever. I think that's what she said. And it turns out she was laughing at something being in the other girl's hair, and it was like an octopus's tentacle for some reason, and it was like, so everything was throwing me off. And then, like, the scene after that, there's a boy who starts talking to one of the principal or the teacher or whatever, I can't remember, and then one of the girls gets mad at him and shoots him in the head with the gun, and it was so chaotic. So yeah, anyways, that's what I did this week to learn Japanese, is got really confused watching Nichijou. Man, episode 1 was super confusing, and honestly, I started getting really discouraged because I was so confused from that first episode. And I was like, I don't understand anything that's going on. And even all of the stuff that I did understand, I felt like I was second guessing myself so hard, because what they were saying and what was happening felt so irrelevant because it was so chaotic. Anyways, that's my experience for that. But overall, over the years that I've been learning Japanese, I have used anime as a way to listen and to practice listening and to have input. They talk a lot. All the language learning videos that I've watched talk about input and immersion and things like that, and watching anime is a good way to do that. I want to talk about some of the difficulties that come along with that, though. Yes, watching anime or watching YouTube or really watching anything that has input is fun and enjoyable. However, when you're watching in a language that you're trying to learn, you have to change your mind. You have to change the wiring in your brain, literally change how you're thinking, and that's exhausting, and the effort that you need to put into it becomes tiresome. As enjoyable as it is, it can be very difficult, and because of that, I've not stayed very consistent with this kind of thing, but I do think that it is something that is valuable. I think some of the best ways to watch anime and actually retain what you're learning and listening, and whenever you learn new words and new vocabulary, it's best to learn it in context. So in my experience of what I've done, watching something brand new like Nichijou just kind of confuses me and throws me off. But watching something that I've already seen before in English and I know everything that's going on, and then I watch it again in Japanese with no subtitles or with Japanese subtitles, really helps me to understand what's going on, because I can listen and understand, and when there's gaps, and there's going to be gaps of the language, I start to fill those gaps in with my memory of what I already know is going on, because I know the show. I've seen it before. So that's kind of a good way to get in listening practice, I think. But I think if you do that, you have to do it quite a lot. And like I said, there's a difficulty because it is tiresome. It's kind of feels exhausting to sit there and just watch something that you find difficult to understand, and you have to pay attention fully and stay focused the entire time. And for something that's supposed to be like a pastime, kind of relaxing or fun and enjoyable, it can be frustrating, to be honest. It can actually cause frustration to sit there and feel like you're struggling to listen and pay attention to something that you should be enjoying. And that's somewhere I think watching anime can be a downside, is if it starts to become more like a chore or a thing that's going to drain you more than really getting the input that you need. But you definitely need to find the balance, and I'm trying to find that balance in a lot of things in learning, is finding the balance of difficulty versus enjoyability, because I do want to have fun while I'm learning the language. So yeah, this week I don't think I made a ton of progress with learning, to be honest. I actually didn't even watch that much of the show. Kind of some life stuff was happening, so I wasn't totally 100% focused on it this week. But yeah. I think next time I do this kind of thing, I want to actually kind of study it a little bit more. Rather than just watching and using it as input, I want to also like take notes, write down words that I don't know. I don't really think I can do that with just listening. I would actually need to have the subtitles. That way I can see a word and write it down, copy it down, and be like, that's a word I want to look up later, or look up right away. I think that's a way that you can kind of use anime as a way to actually study, rather than just having it as input. You can write down words and sometimes even sentences or phrases and try to understand it using the context of the show. So, yeah, this week was definitely something. I'm going to do more studying next week, so watch out for that. Bye.